And we are at April 2nd. So anybody have any really good April Fool's gags that went on yesterday?
Not one.
Yeah, I think what we're going through is enough of a gag in itself.
Well, actually, I did get a gag. You put a video out of Samuel Jackson saying, "Stay the fuck home."
Yeah, I saw that. I forget who sent. Oh, Daryl Hill sent that. He sent it in a private message, and I'm like, oh, this is too good. I gotta
Yeah,
check that out.
that was hilarious. But that's the only April Fool's thing that I saw.
Yeah, I didn't. It was pretty light. Usually, there's some really good ones, but
It made me laugh. I think people need some
Want me to talk about
comedy.
when I come home at night and my sons ask me what I did today? And I actually say, well, I had a meeting to talk about what.
How about? Oops.
oh, I think that was Bradley that was talking there.
Oh, what did you say?
Oh, I think he had his mute off or whatever. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Something launched that shouldn't have launched. So.
No, it's just something that I saw on LinkedIn yesterday. Admiral Becker, that Craig had speak a year or two ago, he was putting out all day long. He did like half a dozen of them where he took comedy teams because he teaches T3 in leadership, tone, tenacity, and teamwork. So what he did is he like the Three Stooges and which one was each T, and he went through different different comedy teams and whatnot with that. And it was pretty funny, but it was still insightful. And I was like going, oh man, I wish I thought of that. So I was looking at how could I do something like that to be fun, but still carry the point in the future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw something else on him yesterday. It wasn't on LinkedIn. Somebody was sharing it around through Facebook, but yeah, he seems to be getting around right now. I don't know what. I'm not sure what's behind it. I don't know if he's like marketing a product or maybe he's just giving back. I don't know. He's
services. He ultimately markets consulting services around leadership and security.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so he's definitely getting some airtime, that's for sure. But he's got a great story too, and he's really good. He's a good presenter, a good speaker. He's got a stage presence that's awesome. All right, let's see here.
Sometimes people need to be honed in. Like, what are they actually selling? Like, what is it?
Yeah, that's a big problem with a lot of people is they haven't really gotten clear on their offer, so it's really hard if you're in business and you're trying to do marketing and you don't know what you're selling. That's a tough situation. And
or knowing what you're selling but not knowing how to. Like, I was at an event the other day and this guy has been on all these network shows and he had like 6 books out and he never once asked the group of people in front of him he had never had an offer for these people. And I was really blown away by that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, when you're creating your marketing stuff, I do a lot of reviews of, sales pages and opt-in pages and all that. And you've got to sell harder, and what I mean by that is I see a lot of these offers, headlines and stuff, and they're not specific. They're not pointed. And that's one of the biggest problems in marketing is not being specific. If you try and talk to everyone, you're going to talk to no one. And, they think they've got to talk to everybody. And that's really that's the kiss of death. If you're not talking specifically to somebody like you would be talking to them face to face, you're not going to land, you're not going to resonate with them. And you've got to be more aggressive. Like I see these headlines and stuff and they're dancing around, they're beating around the bush. They're not addressing what the person on the other end really wants. And that's a big problem. If you're not keyed in to what your prospect really wants, then your marketing efforts are going to be really weak and you're not going to convert very well. And what happens with that is your advertising all of a sudden becomes really expensive. Advertising should not be expensive. It should be, you're putting money out and it's bringing money back. And if you're not converting, that's not happening. And that is what makes your advertising just really expensive. And even, another thing too, I think people don't take it seriously if they're not paying for the airtime. I'll just call it airtime for lack of a better word. But your advertising, your exposure. If you're like, let's say you're on somebody puts you on a podcast, it's not costing you anything. So you're there and you're not really taking advantage of it because you don't, I don't know, it's maybe you don't respect it because you're not paying for it. A lot of times when people pay for ads, they get very serious and they focus more on the conversion. But a lot of people are using, free traffic sources, getting interviewed on podcasts, social media, all the stuff that they're equating to not really costing money. And I think because of that, they're selling really soft, and that means they're not selling at all. They'll get on there, they'll talk about something. They won't have a clear idea. This is something that, a lot of the really top marketers will say, like Dave D, if you've ever heard Dave D, he's been around forever. He's part of the Glazier Kennedy crowd now. He wasn't originally, when I first met him, he wasn't involved in that. But now, all of those guys, they say this in common. They say you have to start with the end in mind. Like if you're going to create a presentation, it doesn't matter whether it's a webinar or you're invited on as a guest on a podcast or whatever, but you have to start with the end in mind when you're creating that delivery of that material. And if the end in mind is you want to acquire a customer, then that's your end goal. So now what do you have to do to make that happen? And that's the problem. Nobody's making that happen because they're not focused on what they want out of the thing. Anything that you do is marketing, whether it be you're being interviewed or you're creating a landing page or you're developing a website. It doesn't matter what it is, even writing an article. A lot of people are blogging. They have this thing in their head that they've got to post a blog every day or put a blog post out every day, or they've got to do a Facebook Live every day. There's a lot of these challenges going around. The challenge of, can you do a Facebook Live for 30 days? And that's great. It's a great exercise for you to get in the mode of communication. But when I see them, I watch them, it just kills me. I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? They're just wasting time. They don't have an end in mind. They get on there and they talk about whatever, and it's not really focused towards anything. One of the guys that I see that does this really good is Hank and Sharon Uloff. They're a husband-wife team. They're in the marketing business. And everywhere they go, they're doing videos, but they're doing it for a point. They're relating it to marketing. Like they'll be driving down the freeway and Sharon will be driving and Hank will be doing a video out the window of a billboard. And then he'll be talking to you about, their trip. And he says, oh, well, I just saw this billboard. Let me tell you something I saw in that billboard. He starts talking about the advertising and related to, they do a lot on marketing mistakes. And he'll point out the mistake. And then at the end, he's swooping you back in to opt in for one of his free lead magnets. So his end in mind with that video was, I want to generate a lead today. So what can I do to publish something that will generate a lead? So once he generates the lead, then he's going to invite him to a webinar. And the end in mind of the webinar is I want to generate a sale from the lead. I want to take that lead and I want to turn them into a customer. So every time you create anything, think of it as marketing and what is your end in mind? What do you want out of this thing? If you're going to pop on, let's say you commit to a 30-day challenge and you're going to do 30 days of Facebook Lives. what is your end in mind for each one? You know, do you want to generate a lead? And if you want to generate a lead, anything that you're trying to get someone to do, that's an action, and it should be treated just like a sale. Because if you're asking them to opt in, that is a sale. You're asking for a sale. Call to action, whether there's dollars transmitted or not, you're asking somebody to do something. And for them to do that, you have to exchange something of value. So if there's no value in it, if they don't see it, my point to this is you're selling it, whether there's money involved or not. You're selling the value of the thing. In exchange for what you're asking is you're asking for their email address so you can generate a lead. So you have to treat it as a sale. You need to provide the value. You need to tell them, here's what I have for you. Here's what it's going to do for you. And here's what I want you to do next. And you notice how many yous there was in that. It's all about them. It's never about yourself. It's about them. So your languaging, like when I'm writing copy, when I'm creating big ideas, when I get all the words down on paper, I almost always wrote too many I's in it, not enough U's. So I always go back and I re-engineer, and I make it a lot stronger. I make it about them. And that's where, like when you're building up for a call to action, whether it be download my free ebook, or, you know, purchase my $1,000 item, or purchase my $10,000 package, it does not matter. You have to create enough value before you make that offer, before you ask them to do something. Like before you ask them to give you $10,000, you have to convey and communicate the value of what they're going to get by doing that. Same thing with the free ebook or the free thing that's the lead magnet. If you don't create enough value in what they're going to get by opting in, they're not going to do it. So, you know, in relationship to how that all plays into the ACT program, you know, the ACT program is understanding who you're talking to, understanding what they want, what's their gap, you know, what do they want, why do they want it, all of that. How big is the pain? How big is the pleasure? You know, whatever it is. Sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's pleasure they're after. You know, you don't necessarily sell a, you know, a luxury vacation on pain. It's all about pleasure. You know, it might be getting away from the pain of work and all that, or the stress and all that, but the main goal really is the pleasurable thing there. Now, if you've got back pain and you're trying to get away from pain, then that's pain. You need to talk about the pain. You need to talk about what situation that they're in and where they want to be. So you know, you've got to build that value. So once you understand who you're talking to and what they're really experiencing and what they really want, you get that, you understand that, then you go into creation mode. And when you take that information into creation mode, you have 4 things sitting in front of you that need to be accomplished. So again, end in mind is going to be a call to action, whether it's a generate a prospect, generate a lead, generate a sale, whatever it is. End in mind is out there on the end of this. So you have 4 key components to get you there. First, you have to grab their attention. We use the big idea concept to do that. Next, you have to create demand and desire. And this is really just talking about them and what they're going to get. That's going to seduce the heart. That's talking to them on a level that, hey, it's music to their ears. The third component to that is along the way, while you're creating the demand and desire, this could be totally intermingled. What you want to do is you want to eliminate the objections. That's piece number 3. And then the final piece, the final frontier here is make your offer. So to recap, you grab attention, create demand and desire, eliminate objections, and make an offer. So whatever you're doing, if you're doing an interview and a podcast, make sure you're creating that. Make sure you're creating that flow. So when you get to the end and you make your offer, whatever it is, doesn't matter if it's a lead magnet, a $20 item, or a $10,000 item. Make sure you're in that flow. And the bigger the item, the bigger the commitment, the longer that cycle is. And it's just like in the real world, a sales cycle, somebody's going to buy, you know, $100,000 piece of office equipment or, you know, manufacturing equipment. That's a longer sales cycle. Before they make that big of a commitment, they're going to want to make sure, hey, this is really the thing I want. This is really the thing that's going to get me where I need to go. And it's a longer sales cycle. A $20 thing, it's like, oh, you know, it's like buying a piece of gum. You don't have to think a lot about that. You know, it's like problem solved, small commitment, boom, boom, boom. But the bigger the commitment, the longer that process is, the more demand and desire you're going to have to create, the more objections you're going to have to eliminate, and the better your offer needs to be.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I'm really stuck with the site pop.
Okay.
First of all, let me see if I've got this straight. I'm trying to use the Pro plan, which is 6,000 searches a month, as I understand it.
Correct. Yes.
I only have one website, and I'm calculating that I need, I think, 12 campaigns and a total of 36 devices.
Okay, so in the Pro plan, basically you have 10 slots and there's 500 searches allotted to each one. So basically for the 10 slots, you could put them all to the same website. And then you need 2 devices connected per project. So you would need 20 devices connected.
Oh, there's where I may be making my mistakes. I thought it was 3 devices per project.
No, 2. We originally started with 3. When our network was smaller, we required 3. Now that the network has grown out and it's much stronger, we only require 2.
Ah, because I'm hitting a wall when I try and put 3.
Yes, because here's the deal with the Pro plan. You can't custom allocate the number of searches per project. It's a set amount of 500 max. So with the agency version, that's where you can allocate whatever you want. You can customize per project. So for you to get all of them, you would have to just duplicate the project 10 times. Does that make sense?
You mean duplicate the project, but they're each going to have their own project number.
Correct.
And that's what I'm going to put into the device.
Correct.
And here is where I'm stuck again. And maybe it'll be unstuck when I go to 2 devices per project. What is happening is there doesn't seem to be enough buttons. Especially once something gets gummed up, once I get that message that you're no longer this device is no longer connected to SitePop, right? I get that
Okay.
message. And then no matter what I do, there's no button that gets me back. I've emailed you and you've emailed me back and you say if worse comes to worse, uninstall it and reinstall it. But a lot of times when I reinstall it, that nice, matter of fact, it almost never happens, that nice window that says email and project number, that doesn't come up. And so without that window coming up, I have no place to put the project number.
Okay, yeah, we should probably do you should schedule an appointment where we can go through and troubleshoot because what you're experiencing doesn't sound like a normal situation. So maybe let's schedule a time where we can go in and troubleshoot that for you.
Okay. That sounds good because I mean, like I say, I'm hitting a wall and nothing is working.
Okay.
The tablets, I've not been able to get a tablet to work at all. And the phones were working, but once I get that message that it's not working, then I haven't found a way to get that window back. So, all right. So how do I set up this appointment?
So in the support ticket, just go in there in the support ticket, and then I'll set up a Zoom call for you.
Okay.
So just pop
All
that
right.
in there, and because that way I can see what's going on, and usually if I can see it, I can get to the bottom of it pretty quick.
Okay. That makes more sense than for me to wait, because I could waste the rest of the call on this.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So put in a support ticket on that, and I'll set up a time, and we'll I might get Chris on there too, because he's the tech guy for the back end support, and we'll get in there and figure out what's going on.
Okay.
I mean, it's possible there might be some corruption in your actual campaign that's causing this. I've seen that only a couple of times. We've got thousands of users, but I have seen that a couple of times, and we just had to have Chris clear whatever the glitch is or whatever. So
yeah, something got screwed up, because it's like, I hate to use the word virus at this time, but
yeah,
it
that has a whole new
is,
meaning right now, huh?
yeah, it's like it's spreading. It started with the tablets, and now I can't even get cell phones. And so I'll let you move on to something else, and I'll send in a ticket to.
Okay, yeah, because it sounds like it's out of the ordinary for sure. So.
Okay. All righty. Well, thanks a lot.
Okay, my pleasure. All right. Anybody else got anything you want to jump out and?
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Gwen.
I am going round and round in Kartra.
Okay.
And part of it is I was trying to copy from another form. And when I try to do my box, my little sales box, it's still trying to take me to the other form, although I've created a pop-up form to fill up for a schedule for a call. That's what this one's call to action is.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem to be taking it. So I'm kind of going through again and trying to make sure I got the form, got it filled out, hit apply, hit saved, and I'm still stuck. And now I'm in the form field, and I'm going, do I just hit done? Do I go? I just saw the done button. I guess I hit done. Okay, I think that might have been my problem.
You want to share the screen? We'll see if we can figure it out.
Sure. Let me get my Zoom up and I'll share the screen.
All right. Yeah, if any of you guys are stuck like in Zoom and you want to do a screen share or whatever, I'm perfectly happy to do that, or look at web copy, whatever you guys need. Just don't be afraid to hop out.
And I'm not real happy with the background either, but I'll change that later.
Okay.
But
Background's
at this
easy.
point, go ahead.
The background's easy to change. Have you found it?
I found it once to change it to this one, and then I don't like this one. So I haven't found a background I like yet.
Oh, okay. But you found where to change the background.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So what I need to do, so my buttons are like, this is the one, and it was heading to, let me just hit edit. So at this point.
So your crowd targeting button there, you would go to edit it. That's the one you want to collect the information.
Right, and this is what I wanted. Pardon?
Okay.
Let me turn my speakers up a little more. Yeah, I can hear you. So this is what I was trying to set up to make it go to.
Okay. So in the, where it says edit to configure the form,
Mm-hmm.
edit that. And then that's where you're going to select which form that you're going to use.
Right.
See
so
where it
just-
says opt-in form, crowd targeting schedule form, the drop down.
right.
That's
That's the form that I grabbed.
okay. So that's where you grab the form that when they sign up here, it's going to use those form settings.
Right. And then I'm hoping that that will take it then to calendar to set up the call. But I didn't see where in my form settings to link it to the calendar.
Okay. So the
I'm-
calendar, where you put the calendars, you put the calendar link on the thank you page.
Okay.
So when somebody enters this form sends them to a thank you page. And that's where you say, you know, let's set up the call. So right here, the calendar will automatically put a form up anyway. So I think you're adding an additional step that you don't need here.
Oh, okay. So I should just do my original one just to the calendar?
Yeah, so click back out of this. So just hit done on the right.
Okay, did that. So now I come back and edit the link again.
Yeah,
And instead of going to a form, go directly to a calendar.
yeah, you can send it to a calendar.
Link to cart calendar. There it is. Okay.
Because when you do that, the calendar is going to ask them to opt in anyway, and your calendar is attached to a form already.
Okay. Now
So
I
you
was
were-
going to do this.
You were just
then
adding an extra step that was unnecessary in the middle of it all.
Okay. Now, should I create a separate calendar for this? Because I know I did a separate calendar for a previous one, and then I have like my regular website calendar. Should I do this one as a crowd targeting calendar and have everything tied to that, or can I just use my website calendar?
Well, it depends on how you want it tracked. I like to track everything. So like when somebody schedules an appointment, I know what it's for. So I would create another calendar for each different thing you're going to have them opt in to schedule an appointment for.
Okay, so I was just adding an extra step.
Yeah, you just had an extra step in the middle.
Okay, that works.
Gracie's
will-
getting big back there.
Yeah, she likes seeing herself on the screen and saying hi.
Hi, Gracie.
She's at the next desk over doing her schoolwork.
Oh, cool. So yeah, it looks like you were just overcomplicating it there, which that happens a lot. I was just this morning, I was on with a guy that was doing a big product launch, and oh my God, he had it so convoluted, it was crazy. I'm like, what are you doing? He was trying to bring all these additional WordPress plugins in, and I'm like, it does everything you need right inside Kartra. You don't need to do all that. He really had it convoluted.
I'm just convoluted in my own putting it together and trying to make something that connects and works. And then I want to put it up on the website, and that's a whole nother story. That I need to get it working before I can get that far.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, was that it in there?
I think that was it for now. I'll go ahead and hit create the website calendar, or the traffic calendar, and then see if I can get it all tied together. And if not, I'll holler again.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Who else has something? Carolyn.
Hey, John, how's it going?
Oh, very good. How about you?
I am super fantastic. I have a question. I have something I'm promoting, but the gentleman doesn't track affiliate links. So, he depends upon somebody like filling in the form about who brought you there. Is there a way I can track that they went to that page that I sent them to that page?
Okay, so let me get this straight. Let me make sure I understand this. So you're promoting someone else's product
Correct.
and they don't have like proper affiliate tracking.
Correct.
Okay. So what you always want to do, and this is regardless of the situation, whether they track it properly or not, you always want to get everyone to opt in to you first. So if you've got a database full of people and you're just going to push them over to an offer, that's fine. There's no problem there. But if you don't, you always want to get them to opt into your thing first. And that way, you don't lose them, and you can give them a list of all the people that you sent their way and then let them figure it out. But that is really not an ideal situation whatsoever. An affiliate that doesn't have proper tracking, you're on a total trust relationship there, and a lot of them, I'll just say it, a lot of them are not trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Any affiliate program, you should be able to log into the affiliate control panel. You should be able to see how many people clicked through that you sent. You should see how many sales, and you should see your commissions, everything, the payouts. There should be full transparency in an affiliate program. And if there's not, it's from one of two reasons. And both of these are totally legitimate. One is they just don't know how to do it. And they're honest, they just don't know how to do it. The problem with the honesty there is they honestly don't know how to do it. So they don't know how to track it, so they won't be able to know when you get paid. And they might be able to do it on a very small volume, but if they get a bunch of affiliates in there, it'll just get lost in the mix. They won't be able to handle it. So that's one problem. And the other one is they're doing it that way for a reason, so they have no accountability, so they don't have to pay you. And there are people like that. There are a lot of people. I can't tell you how many things that good stuff, that I've promoted in the past and never received a dime for. And I know sales were made because the people I sent thanked me for sending them, and I helped them get it set up. So, you have to be careful when you get into that situation where you're promoting somebody that doesn't have full transparency in their affiliate program.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I don't know of really a way that you could track who made purchases on their system. Here's a way that I just thought about this. This is a way that I've seen some of the top end marketers that kind of have a verification thing. And I think it's so they can make sure they get paid. What they do is they give a bonus. Like when they send out to their list, they say, hey, I have an affiliate offer, and if you purchase through my link, I will give you my bonus. Here's how to get the bonus. When you get the receipt from the vendor, email me the receipt, I'll send you the bonus. So that's a way to do it. And I've seen that, over the years, I've seen a lot of the different affiliates that do it that way. And I think they do it that way to keep the other guys honest. So.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
all right.
That's one way. I was thinking of a way. That's the only way I know that you can do it. But even that's flawed because it brings a lot of manual labor into the situation.
Right. Right.
But it does keep everybody honest, so that might be worth the effort.
So I could kind of copy their page and just make it my own page and then send him to the link to sign up. So at least I would know that they went on the page.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you could do that. You could track traffic to your page. and just have it be a
Right.
duplicate of their page.
Right. Okay.
That's one way. But again, you know, it's a lot of extra effort that you might be able to just find another affiliate source, you know, unless it's something totally unique and you know, you can't get it somewhere else. That's one situation.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, could you share some about the SERP Scout process that you sent the email out on yesterday?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's very intriguing, and I wanted to hear. You mentioned that you might have some some insights in how you're using it and what how it can help us all.
Yeah. That is like, if you're, I don't know if all of you got it. It didn't go out to everybody because I segment my list, but I think you guys all probably got it. Maybe not though. So anyway, it was an affiliate offer that I sent out to my list, or a portion of my list, people that I knew that were involved in web services and stuff like that. And basically the product itself, it's called SERP Scout. And what it does, it's a software product, and it's for finding leads. So you can put like a search phrase into it, and what it'll do, it'll search Google search results, and it's looking for specific criteria. Like, let's say you can check off the box that I want to find people that don't have Google Analytics code in their website. And what that does, it brings back a list of people that you know need something. You can have it look for if there's a Facebook pixel on a website. If they don't have a Facebook pixel, what you can do is you can reach out to them and try and generate them as a lead and a prospect. So for instance, if they didn't have a Facebook pixel, you could reach out to them and you could say, hey, I noticed there was no Facebook pixel on your website. Were you aware that you can create a free audience out of your website and start building that audience until you're ready to advertise on Facebook? Because the problem with Facebook pixels, when you put them onto your website, most people put them on when they start an ad campaign. The time to put a Facebook pixel on your website is before that, so you can start building an audience of people that have already been to your site, and it's almost like retargeting at that point. Retargeting is one of the cheapest, most effective advertising methods on the, you know, online right now, because it's people that have already been to your site. They went to your site for a reason, and this is a way to advertise to them to bring them back to your site. So it's like building an audience. Whenever you're going to run an ad, you want eyeballs on your new offer, or whatever it is, you need an audience. So there's no better audience than people that have already been to your website. So if they've already been to your website and you have the Facebook pixel on there, Facebook is now creating an audience that you could advertise to of people that are on Facebook. So wouldn't that make sense to advertise your website that people have already been to when they go onto Facebook? That's a pretty good target. So that's something that SERP Scout can do. It can find all the people that don't have that. And what that does, that gives you an opportunity to grab their attention, create demand and desire for the product, because if they're not building that audience, they're really wasting every website visitor that goes onto their site. They're wasting it. They could be building an audience that later they could target when they're ready. So you can almost create this fear of missing out, this FOMO, and say, look, it's really easy to do. You already have a Facebook account. All you have to do is grab your pixel code and pop it into your WordPress site. And if you want, for 20 bucks, I'll do it for you. Most people will take you up on the 20 bucks to do it for them. Now, what happened right there was you had a little micro commitment. It's 20 bucks. Get something done you really need done. You just acquired a customer. The lifetime value of that customer could be enormous. And that's where SERP Scout can really shine. It can really shine in identifying those opportunities to grab that prospect and convert them into a customer with a tripwire offer. So that's why I think it's a phenomenal product. Todd, you know, he's been working on that for a long time. He just finally is releasing it, and it's really a cool program. And it'll do a lot more than that. It'll look for, it'll also look for people that don't have the Google My Business account set up. Now, if you have a business, most people that have a website have a business for the most part. Now, if they have a website and you identify that they don't have a Google My Business account and you're looking for something to do, you're looking to open a new business, you could say, hey, I can create Google My Business accounts. You know, it's a very high value thing to do because most people don't know how to do it. Like a business owner wouldn't know how to do that. You could say, hey, you know, are you aware that Google has this free thing that they give away to help you advertise, and it's free? You just have to set it up. You know, I can set it up for you for a couple $100, you know, or 97 bucks or whatever. And you identify them, you call them out, you tell them their problem, you create the pain, and then you offer to solve it for them for a low dollar amount to acquire that customer. Once you acquire a customer and they're happy, the next thing they want to know, and this goes back to the ACT program with the timeline, you've satisfied the timeline. A new timeline starts. And if you can position yourself on the next timeline, you can make more money from that same person that you just sold. It's so easy to sell the second, third, and fourth time to somebody. It's hard to sell them the first time. The bulk of your effort is going to go into the first sale. That's why you need to make it easy. You need to make it a minimum small commitment. And if you do that, you'll take the difficulty out of that. Most people have a lot of trouble in business acquiring customers because they're trying to bring them on at too high a level. You know, they're trying to acquire a customer with too big a commitment without a track record. They haven't earned the right. You know, it's just like dating. You've got to earn the right for the next step. If you try and leapfrog, you get denied. You know, it's like the whole marriage proposal on the first date. Yeah, it has happened. There's anomalies. Like Callie said, I knew the first day. You know, that's cool. That happens. But it's not normal. And when you're in business, you need to rely on the normal, not the anomalies. You know, unless you've got a multi-million-dollar customer and you only need one and you fall in love at first sight, that's not replicatable. In business, you need replication. You need to be able to repeat processes. So you need to fall back onto the norm. And the norm is a small commitment as the appropriate first step. So if you're trying to acquire customers, this is a really good way to do it. You find a small thing on their timeline, find their first timeline, fulfill it, turn them into a customer, and then they'll want the next one. I can't tell you how many times I've done something small for a prospect that turned them into a customer, and then a week later they're calling me asking me if I could do something else. Always happens. You know, like for instance, I brought in a lot of web hosting customers back 20, 25 years ago that didn't know how to do it. They had no idea what web hosting was or how to get online. So I was offering to overcome that hurdle. I say, hey, I can do it for you. It doesn't cost that much. And then boom, they're set up, they're happy, they're getting their email. Next, they call me up and they say, hey, can you build a website too? Of course I can. You know, that's the second sale, and I didn't have to work for it. It was a natural progression. I just happened to be in the path of the timeline. I mean, when you can create that kind of an environment where you just become their go-to person, and whether you supply the service or not, you're there to make the commission and be in the middle. That's a great business model. So, you know, And again,
Hey,
that
John.
tool, just to answer your question, that tool is what starts it all. It creates those initial lead-ins. Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead.
John. Hi.
How's it
Speaking
going?
of, good. How are you?
I am hanging in there.
Hanging in there out there in California. Yeah, we're in tough shape out here, but I'm outside, so
Yeah.
trying to get some fresh air. So with speaking about that, for a lead generation ebook, an opt-in for an ebook, in terms of formats, you can do a PDF.
Mhm.
I'm also looking at an EPUB. It's a series of weight loss books for young women, and they're all on iPhones, basically. I'm concerned that with a PDF, it's not responsive really on iPhones. What would you recommend? I mean, is EPUB the best bet in a PDF and an EPUB?
Yeah, there's that. There's also the does the Google Kindle work on that as well?
You can reformat it to go on Kindle, but Kindle has put up so many restrictions for other formats
Okay.
that it doesn't read correctly. It's a
Yeah.
fixed format ebook. There's a lot of pictures, how-to steps, because I think it's important
Okay.
for a weight loss book, and also pictures, because if it's all text, you're really going to lose people. I don't,
Yeah.
what we're seeing, they're not going to read.
So you could also possibly turn it into an app for the phone too, where when they opt in, they get a login for the app, and then they get access to the information through the app. That could give you a very interactive experience.
So you make an app out of the ebook itself
Yeah.
through Apple?
Yeah, you take the contents of whatever's in there, and you can turn pretty much anything electronic, you can turn into an app. An app, really, it's just a program. It's a program that runs on the phones, just like a program would run on your desktop or a web page.
Now, I remember when you tried to get an app for, I believe it's for your site pop, there was a lot of, you had to sort of mask what the program was. Are there a lot of because I have many restrictions, anything with supplements, with weight loss, they're very hesitant.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a problem if you try to get Apple to approve an app for weight loss?
Yeah, it may. What I would really recommend, if you're going to go through that process, I would get an app developer that was experienced, with the Apple process, because they'll know what they can get away with and what they can't.
Okay.
And it'll make it a lot easier. The other thing that you might consider is doing it. You could actually do that through Kartra. Rather than build an app, when they opt in, you could give them access to a Kartra membership site, and you could control all the content in the membership site.
Right. I did contact Kartra a few months ago, and again, with weight loss, they have prohibited categories on Kartra, and then they have categories that are subject to closer scrutiny. And they said that, they said with weight loss, they don't want to get involved with that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could make it look like, just an educational series. I could try again with Kartra and say it's just an educational series.
Yeah. Now, did they contact you after you already created the content, or?
What I do now is when I go to these new platforms, right up front, I'll tell them this
what
is
you're
what
doing. Okay.
Yeah, and tell me now, because the worst thing is to put up all this energy to get this put up on a platform, and then 3 weeks later they'll suspend it or something.
Yeah, that's not good.
Well, you can put it under the health and wellness category and not call it weight loss. So
yeah. Well, here's another thing that you could do, Anthony. You could create a membership site in WordPress, like like I don't know what they are, wish list or member. There's a bunch of different plugins where you can create a membership site in WordPress, and then you've got no scrutiny. That's on your own website.
Yeah, so you think, and that would be responsive if there was a WordPress site. That's a good idea. So it would be responsive on any device. They would be able to,
that would be a way to do it, to get out from under any restrictions of any platform, because WordPress isn't going to give you that. You're running it on your own site. You could do anything you want with that.
So you think that if you had to, between an ebook and a membership site, the membership site would be even more value for a new prospect?
Yeah, because that gives you total interaction with them, and it gets them on your mailing list, and you can, you could do a lot with that.
Right.
And you've got all of your information is now contained without public access.
Yeah.
So that might be the answer for you.
All right, I'll take a look at that. Yeah.
So you do your teasers. This could actually open you up to a much bigger platform outside for your advertising, getting them to opt in for something else, and then revealing inside where no one has access to that other than the people that opted in.
Yeah.
So that could possibly, I know that'll probably get your wheels turning there.
Yeah.
Because
thank you.
I know what you're up against, so I think that might be a good solution. So cool. Yeah, Jim says you can use a member. I actually used a member, and MemberPress is also another one for WordPress.
Hey, John.
So cool. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Hey, so quick question on the subdomains. I set up a new customer on the Kartra account system, and we have like events.gta transform, but the page goes to, the landing page that I created. But what if we want to have like one landing page with multiple events? How do we set it up so that there's going to be multiple events?
Oh, okay. So while we're on this with you, I have found some creative ways to get around the restrictions that Kartra had for what you were up against. So you want to run multiple companies within the one Kartra account, right?
Well, that's on a separate project, but this is very specific to a new client, and they're going to have multiple events under their events page or landing page.
Okay. So once you create the subdomain in Kartra, you can put an unlimited number of pages on that subdomain. So they could have multiple event pages, and you can have them all on that subdomain. And basically what it comes out to is subdomain.domain.com/page name.
Right. So if it's subdomain.domain/ list of events, how do I list those events in sort of a sequential order, and then also or like a main calendar so they can see what's coming up, and then there would be subdomain, domain, and then /event.
Yeah, you could create one page that listed all the events and had links to those specific pages for that specific event. That's just like you're making an index page, and then you're linking it to the sub pages, the sub Kartra pages, and they're all on that subdomain. That would be the way to do that.
Oh, okay. So basically create just a page within Kartra that lists all of the events, or
the
graphical interface.
Yeah, and here's another thing. If you're going to do that, it's almost like you're creating a website, building a website out of Kartra. So under the sites where it says, when you create the page and it allows you to assign it to a site, it's really cool to do that, because once the site is built, let's say you want to add a footer to all the pages. You add a footer to one and you say import to all the pages that belong to this site, and it plugs the footer into all of them. And later on, if you want to make an edit to it, like a copyright date 2020 instead of 2019, you just update it on one of those footers and it updates it across the whole site.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
really cool.
what was your advice that you were mentioning before? Because on the other one that we're talking about, to have multiple clients using the Kartra, what was?
Yeah,
I didn't mean to skip over that. What was your thoughts on that?
So one of your issues was the email address only having one Kartra email address.
Yeah.
You can have a second email address, but not through the Kartra plugin. You can use one of the other email providers, and you can set up a second email account for them.
Like using one of the integrations, or can I
Yes.
just do it on any domain that I
like SendGrid. Like, let's say you set up a SendGrid account, put a different domain address in there, and then now you've got two different mail gateways to choose from. And you can create multiple SendGrid accounts, whereas the Kartra only allows you to create one. So that's a way to deal with the email. The way to deal with the subdomains, if you want to put the stuff on a regular website, this is really cool. Let's say you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up a subdomain, but you want a page on someone's website. All they have to do is create the page, create a blank page
on WordPress
or whatever, it doesn't matter. And then in Kartra, when you go to publish the page, it gives you that box where on the left you have click here to get the link, on the right you have click here to get the code. And
yeah, I've used that.
You can grab the code and then you just plunk it in there, and you can put it on the main domain, a single page, and it works perfectly.
Okay, so what about the address? Is there a way to not have the address be sent out on the transactional reports or whatever whenever so say someone purchases something on that WordPress page using the Kartra environment that you have, it will come back from the email that we want, but unfortunately it also has the address of a company that may not be related to.
Correct. That is correct, because there's no way to create a second company in the Kartra, but you could have a separate billing gateway. Like when they get, say, an authorized net, if you have an authorized net account, they're going to get the confirmations from the company that's actually collecting the money.
Got it. Okay.
So
awesome. That'll work.
Now, here's another thing you could do. You could go in and you could edit those emails. Any of those emails that people get, like from a customer standpoint, when they place an order, you could potentially go in there and change that, and you might be able to edit it there where you just make it generic.
Right.
Just take the company information out of that email confirmation.
Okay, awesome.
So
and
that's a potential way to do that.
One other question that Callie and I had about the ACT program, is that something that can be white labeled for, like, WebGuru Masters or Callie Skyrocket Your Results, so that her logo can be on there with the ACT?
That's actually a great question. I don't really have an answer for it. I never really thought of doing that. That's a good idea.
Or just think it'd be in conjunction with or something like that. That way we can then send them the login to the ACT once they've purchased it, and then you would be essentially the trainer for Skyrocket Your Results or WebGuru Masters.
Yeah, you know what we could probably do with that? We could probably clone. I could probably clone the Kartra membership area and import it into your account. That's how we could do it.
Okay.
That's
we're trying to figure out a marketing strategy to get that, because we have quite a nice list that would be interested in getting ACT training, but we want to set it up so that it is branded so that they say, okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, because that would give you the ability to adjust it, and instead of me being the the owner creator, you could just label me as the trainer.
Awesome. Okay.
That would work. I do a lot of that kind of stuff with my reseller group, where they'll bring me on to actual sales calls, and they just introduce me as their tech guy. So I just look like an employee of their company.
Wow. So yeah, because our whole strategy is to get the local groups here. Everyone's online now, or they can't work. And Callie's brilliantly said, well, let's teach everyone how to work from home. And that could be a natural progression into getting them as one of the products that she wants to offer.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I was going to mention that on the call today. It was kind of what I was going to lead with, but we got onto a bunch of other stuff, which is perfectly fine. You know, this call is all about what you guys need. But one of the things I wanted to mention is the fact that there are a lot of people right now that have lost income. And it's a really easy way to regenerate that income by running affiliate programs. Even if you don't have anything up and running yourself, if you have an audience, if you have a voice, if you've got people that listen to you, and you find out, you know, something that will work for them, introduce them, you know, join affiliate programs and start promoting things. You know, just, I mean, you know, be integrous about it. Don't just promote stuff to make a buck. Make sure that, you know, what you're selling to whoever you're selling it to is going to be worthwhile for them. It's going to actually help them. But that's a great way to supplement your income and replace what you've lost. And, you know, some people will do that and they'll probably make more than they made at whatever they lost. So
yeah, I was just telling Callie, this is a huge opportunity to have sort of a paradigm shift for a lot of these people that are on the 9 to 5.
There's massive opportunity right now, because that shift you're talking about, it's happening right now. I mean, I'm helping people move stuff online that they never would have considered, like a chiropractor, for instance. This guy does adjustments. Nobody's coming in for adjustments. So I said, why don't you put on an online deal where you can get them, you can do a one-on-one Zoom with them, and you can take them through some stretches where they can self-adjust and at least maintain, so they don't have to come in, you know, on a weekly or monthly basis. You can, you know, and you can supplement, you can still keep the relationship, keep them healthy, keep getting paid, and do that. You know, people that run anything in person, like Zumba classes, you know, karate studios, anything like that, anything where you had classes where people are coming in, put them online. You know, like Craig did his mastermind thing online. He fought it. He would have never done that. If this didn't happen, if this paradigm shift had not happened, he would not have done that. And because he was forced into it, he absolutely loves it. I was talking to him again last night. He is just over the moon with moving everything online, which I've been a bug in his ear for the last 5 years to do it, and he just wasn't having it. Yeah, he just was not having it at all. And
yeah, because he could literally scale this to, you know, 5,000 people all at the same time if he wants.
Yeah, I've been telling him for years. I'm like, dude, you work way too hard. You know, he's traveling all over the country and just beating himself up, you know, with all the travel to do these little, you know, hour presentations to try and get people to come to his events. I'm like, you could automate that. You could leverage that out and stay at home and not have to, you know, not have to go out and fight the traffic and fight the airlines and, you know, all this stuff. So now he's a believer now.
That's exciting. Well, I know Callie's really excited about. We're thinking this could be our most busiest year, even though we're working remotely. So it's.
Yeah, I mean, I provide all kinds of levels of services through my company, and yeah, I've had some people drop out. There's no doubt about it. A lot of people that are on the weaker side of things, they have a scarcity mindset. they're like, oh, I got to stop spending money. I got to pull back the reins. I got to stop all these critical services for my business. And I'm thinking, really? Now's the time, you know, to take advantage. You don't want to stop. I mean, this isn't the time to curl up in a ball and wait for the storm to pass. This is the time to, you know, sell snow shovels. I mean, seriously, money didn't stop moving through the economy just because of this. It's moving in a different way. People still have money. They still have needs. They're still parting with that money to fill those needs. It might just be done in a little different way. Somebody is going to get in the middle. Somebody is going to take advantage of that. The only question is it going to be us or is it going to be somebody else? Somebody's going to do it. You know, that's a fact. So,
John.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead, Woody.
How you doing, buddy? How's my family doing out there?
We're doing really well. You know,
well, right on, America.
My wife's going a little stir crazy because she's used to, like, you know, getting out and being very active outdoors. But other than that, you know, we're figuring it out. We got her some paint.
Right.
So she can do some home projects and keep busy.
Good stuff. Anyway, my question is, since I've been on the ACT program, a lot of conversation with Alice Marie and me about Avatar. Okay. It's all about Avatar. Yeah. Now she says, I am the Avatar. Mm-hmm. It's all about that one dark night where I saw the light, had a transformation, and just realized what it's all about is enjoying your joy. No matter what situation, there is a bright side to it, and that's what I'm all about. Okay. People wounded in love, people wounded in hatred, people wounded in being handy-challenged. All of those are my people.
Yeah. So
all right? That's what Woody's about.
Okay.
So my question to you is, I don't know, and I do have product. I have these snippets, like 3-minute audio visual things I've been doing on my phone for months, backing up. So I got at least 30 of them.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a website. I haven't joined Carta yet. I mean, I'm willing to. I got the money. Let's go, baby. But I don't know what. I want to get active now, to get that audience now, to help people now. And you know what? After I bought ACT, I got like a box full of toys, and I don't know which one to play with. And not only that, we got to learn how the toys work from you. So my question is, what the hell do I do with my snippets now?
Okay.
To get out there. And then the last part is, my product are these little classes. They're, you know, they'll be like on, you know, enjoying your family now.
Okay.
Top 10 list. And that's it, baby.
Okay.
Because I can't film other than my phone, and all I can do is write, or maybe I can use my phone, write some copy and send it to them.
Okay.
So where do I start, oh great one?
So let's go back to the beginning there with what you said about Allie. That's a very revealing thing that she noticed, that you are the avatar. So the important fact about that is she was almost right. You are not the avatar, you were the avatar.
Ah,
So the key distinction there is you
That's
need,
what I said.
okay.
all right.
Not him now, him
Yeah.
6 years ago when he was going through the dark night of the soul, to dive into that.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to clarify.
Okay.
All right. So what do we do now, John?
So you need a little journey back in your mind to where you were, because that's the avatar of who you were at that given point in your life. And you're going to create that timeline based on that. Like when you think back there of where you were, that point in your life, what was it that you wanted? And how did you see it? What were you feeling? And what gave you hope and all of that? That's basically going to answer all the questions of who that avatar is, what they're experiencing, what they want, the whole web analysis. When we do the web analysis in that piece, that's going to be you however long ago. So that's going to give you the answers to all those questions about what's important to your avatar, what they're experiencing. And that's also going to tell you how to grab their attention. Like obviously, if they're in a dark spot, they probably don't want to be there. And I don't know this for sure because this is going to come out of you. Like when you were there, what were you feeling? You know, did you want out, or did you not even think there was a way out? Or that's what you got to kind of come to grips with and get that down, because you're going to need to communicate with that person at that point in their life. And you now being transformed, you're not the same guy. So if you communicate to them as the guy you are today, you're not going to hook up. You're not going to connect. So you need to slip back to where you were to guide them out of that dark area. You know, in NLP, you've got to mirror and match. And if you're who you are now and they are who you used to be, there's no mirror there. So you're the one that has to change. They don't depend on them to change because they can't. They don't know how. So you have to change back to meet and match them, and then shine the light on the road ahead and guide them out. You have to go down. You have to make the journey down the tunnel to get to them, to bring them home.
Got it. Let me ask you, what do I do with all my snippets? How do I get them out there into the world?
So here's the other thing. Your snippets might not be in line because you might not have been thinking in that way. So you might have to go back to the drawing board because you did creation before analysis. And in a lot of times you get a mismatch when you do that. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news because I know you've spent a lot of time creating stuff, but you need to seriously take a look at what you created and see if it's right. If it is, then great. If it's not, then you just need to kind of go back and reformulate that stuff. But the other thing, remember I talked earlier about you have to have the end in mind of what do you want to do with these people when you go back and you meet them where they are. What are we going to lead them towards? And I think what you've got is you have a user group. I think what you could create is a user group, almost like AA. You know, you're talking about a group of people that
It's a great model.
Yeah, that need help and guidance, you know, not from alcohol, but from disability. It's the same mental challenge that they're facing as an alcoholic. They're in a dark hole. They don't know how they got there. They don't know how to get out. So I think a user group community for you is something that you could get them to easily get into, because they probably want help. I mean, nobody wants to be in a dark hole. They might not be thinking that way, so you might have to go back and connect with them where they are and just shine a light that says, hey, you know, I was right here. I know what you're feeling. I was there 6 years ago. I was having all the thoughts that you're having right now. And, you know, however you found your way out, I don't know if that was an inner strength or if somebody shined a light for you or whatever, but you just need to let them know there's a better way, and I have it. I crawled out and I know the path. All you have to do, take me by the hand, or you know, take my hand and I'll lead you out of here. You know, I know the way. And, you know, that almost goes back to a very religious deal, you know. I am the way, I am the light.
Spiritual aspect of this that we're going to engage in with Allie. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what.
But anyway, what do I do now? Can I get these online? I'll go through them and see if they're appropriate, from being the crippled to the crippled no more, because crippled is where they are.
Okay. So that's the exact key. You need to figure out where they are, not in their mind, where they are physically, so you can get in front of them and you can get eyeballs on your stuff. So if they might be in user groups on Facebook. They might be, you know, they might be on following different online forums. So you need, from that perspective, you need to figure out this group of people, where are they congregating? And that's where you need to engage them. You need to figure out, you know, is there user groups in Facebook? Is there YouTube videos that they're watching? You know, what are they doing?
I'd love to get on YouTube. Is it too early?
No, it's never too early to engage, as long as you've got your messaging figured out. Engaging with the wrong messaging is just kind of a waste of time and energy.
Right.
But if you've got your messaging figured out, it's never too early to start spreading the word. Just it's important though to know, if you're going to lead them, it's important to know where to lead them to. Like if you're going to create a user group, that's probably going to be live interactive meetings, you know, just like a round table. Like what we're doing right here is the perfect format for you. Most of them have access to a computer. You could put, you know, a dozen or 20 or, you know, 100 people on a Zoom call and do something to guide them through the steps they're going to need to take to get from where they are to where they want to be. And they would pay to have access to that. You know, it would be like you could have it where if you want to do this on a very low dollar amount to help as many people as possible, you could say, you know, hey, you know, this program is $10 a month, or, you know, something that they could afford. And then maybe you have a live event for those that have gotten up to a certain point, and maybe they're better off financially and they could afford to pay, you know, $1,000 to come and be in a room with you for 2 days, you know, and you get 100 of those and you have $100,000 event. And, you know, now things are progressing much faster. So it's not that difficult. If you create a community and you've got raving fans like that, it's not that difficult to get 100 people to pay $1,000 to come and spend 2 days with you. It really isn't. It's not a big stretch, but you have earned it at that point. You go in without creating that, you do that, you haven't earned it.
Oh yeah, no way, you're not valid yet.
Exactly. But you put somebody in a group coaching situation for 3 months and they get value out of it, and now you have become their guru, you have become their shining light. It will amaze you at what they'll do to come and be with you and just be in the room with you. Like, it blows my mind every time I put on a live event. It literally blows my mind that people come from all over the world just to sit in a room with me for 2 days. That astonishes me. You know, not only do they have the cost of the event, they've got the cost of the travel around the world, the hotels, the everything. It's like, wow, that's awesome. So, but you don't get there without creating that community first. You know, it's like you build up that right to have that. And then once you have the right, you need to exercise it.
You know, I'm sorry, one last thing and I'll shut up. I appreciate everyone's patience with me. On Facebook, I've got all these friends now, especially after doing the Craig DeWald's workshop. You know, everyone wants to be my friend.
Okay.
So I've got like, I don't know, 1,000 people, who knows? I should be asking them if they want to participate in this, right?
Well, here's the thing. Just because they like you and they've joined your Facebook group, it does not mean that they're your avatar.
No, not at all, but it's worth soliciting them in some way.
But here's what you want to do. You want to leverage them. They like you because they like your message. So you want to leverage them as an affiliate. You go out to that group and you say, you know, you gather your 1,000 posse and you say, hey guys, here's the deal. I know you like me. I know you like what I stand for. I would like to enlist you as part of my personal army to help the world. And just tell them how many people there are out there, how to access them, and then, you know, make them your affiliates where they can make money off helping you help all these people. That's how I would use them. Because they're not gonna be, you know, your offer's not gonna be ideal for them.
No.
But your offer to help you is for them. So that's how you leverage that group.
All right, John, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that was helpful. You know, I've got my head a lot more wrapped around what you are, what you're doing, you know, or not what you are, who you are, and who you're helping and all that. So it's, at first I wasn't sure. At first I was like, I got to figure this out. But now I've got enough between what you've told me, what Allie's told me, what I've gathered together. And I think that's the way for you, is to create a community almost like AA. And you're doing it for a different reason. You're there to help them. They're in a dark hole, just like the AA people. It's just a different mode of what the issue is. They're, you know, nobody gets there on their own desire. I mean, nobody wants to be an alcoholic. Nobody wants to be handicapped. It's just a circumstance that they're in, and they need somebody like you to lead them out. Get them through it. Get them through a tough time. And wherever there is a problem, there's always money to be made in that gap. And here is another thing that might be really interesting for you. The alcoholic is never the avatar. It's their family members that want to help them. It's grandma. Grandma is the one that will pay the bill to send little Johnny through rehab.
Always does.
Yep, because little Johnny don't want it. He ain't going to pay for it. He's not the avatar. He's the patient, but he's not the avatar. So keep that in mind. Your avatar might be the family members.
Wow.
Yeah, how's that for a revelation?
Oh, that's worth the price of the admission right there.
Yeah, and that's the same for everyone. You know, everyone, you should be thinking in that way. Who pays the bill? When you make your offer, who's going to want to pay that bill? That's your avatar. That's who you're selling to. You've got to keep that in mind. So, cool stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anything else here before we wrap up? I know we went a little longer today, but I'm totally fine with that. If I've got the time, you guys are my priority. So.
John?
Yeah, go ahead, Tammy.
I could stay a little bit after if you want. I'm trying to embed an opt-in form in a sales page, just a simple page that we're going to tweet out for that book thing. It's not going to be like a campaign, but it's saying that it's not configured because I haven't put any sequences in. So I'm not able to attach it in the page.
Okay. I saw that on someone else the other day, and basically all you have to do when you go through the steps of setting up the form or whatever it is,
yeah,
you basically just have to go in and hit change on every one of the options,
yeah,
and then save it.
Oh, okay. I did do that, but maybe I put configure later because I just put no sequence, don't attach to it, or
Correct.
I think that's actually where the problem is.
Yeah, if you've got a sequence and the sequence doesn't exist or whatever, it won't allow you to make it live. So just take stuff off. Like if there's no sequence yet, just remove it. Just say no sequence yet.
Okay.
And I think that will do it for you.
I'm going to try it real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah. And then, okay, let's see. Marlene, did you want to come out and let's
play?
I'm gonna.
Do you hear me?
Yep, I just unmuted you. How's it going?
It's pretty crazy for those. I haven't participated in the group in months, but for those who don't know, we were are a brick and mortar medical group dealing with severe chronically ill patients, and we are rapidly converting to telehealth and the digital world, and it's hitting me fast and furious. So any help you can give on that. But I had a couple of specific questions. One is, because of the work we are doing for the community, above and beyond just the patient care, we have had some very unexpected national publicity that is coming our way.
Oh, cool.
So the question is, what do we want to do to our website? What do we want to do to our thinking about how to take this publicity and continue to serve the public with it? Because my product has changed.
Yes.
We're now instantly saving lives. We're informing people. We're taking away fear. We have never before collected emails because we never wanted people emailing us that I'm having a heart attack at Sunday night. There's no one to monitor it. But now we must. Mea culpa, you told me this was going to happen. I didn't believe you. I do now. We need strong email. We can have email sign up with notices to people. Don't email us. We're just going to email you. We can do that.
Yeah.
We're sending out newsletters right now to tell them to sign up. And they can go to the website and review what they need to review about signing up, to get their friends to sign up, because suddenly we have become information central to the county. I am now working with the CEO of Ventura County on an emergency basis to help them raise life-saving products from industry to get it sent to the county, all kinds of stuff. So what do I do with the rest of my life here in my little bits of time
I
think take advantage of this?
Yeah, I think you have a big opportunity there to offer virtual doctor appointments. And
we have telehealth now. Yes.
Yeah,
we do.
exactly.
That's what we're telling them.
So I would put, like, on your homepage, I would put that out there in a big bold way, right on the homepage. Virtual doctor visits. See the doctor in the privacy of your own home. You could make a big idea about it of, the whole thing about house calls. That's almost goes back. They say, history repeats itself and every fashion comes back in fashion given enough time. Well, the old-fashioned doctor visits, that we're back. we have come full
yeah, there's a problem with that too. The doctors see patients in a sanitized environment. When they go into the home, they have no way to know what the virus load is going into the home.
Oh yeah, no.
So they have to be a little more careful.
I'm not talking about them physically going into the home. I'm talking about going in on the computer, virtual.
In their slippers. In their slippers.
So a virtual doctor visit, because you can pronounce that as he's coming to you in your home, wherever you are.
Okay.
Just virtually. So you don't have all of those issues that you were thinking of.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a great marketing campaign. If I were you, I would enlist some sort of a mail program like Kartra. I would highly recommend Kartra because you could create a membership area in Kartra where your members could pay to be in the group and they could get special information sent out to them on a regular basis. You could have monthly group doctor visits where, you know, you could create a whole new thing that's never existed before. It's like, you know, the world is available to you now, and people are going to be doing things that they would not have considered before, and I think this might be one of them. So I really think you have a big opportunity there, and Kartra would be a perfect platform to develop that on, because you could do the scheduling, you could do the opt-in to get people to opt in. You could do the upsell to have them be a member, like an online in-home doctor patient member, and they could pay a certain amount for that and get, you know, X amount of almost like insurance. You know, you could almost sell this program as you get two, you know, 10-minute visits a month or whatever. Whether they use them or not, they pay for them just like insurance, whether you use it or not. They have it available to them. I mean, you could get incredibly creative right now.
You could even resell that as a platform of which you could then get other doctors' offices set up to do.
Yeah, because think about that. You're no longer a local provider. You're a worldwide provider now of medical services.
We have to be careful with the Medical Board of California, but other doctors are actually able to contact our patients, which is a switch. So we're trying to protect our turf with this new law that allows an Alabama doctor to telehealth our patients. So there's defense as well as proactive here.
Even, you know, I don't know what the legislature and the rules and regulations are around it, but still, even if it was just statewide, you're now opened up to serve patients all of California.
That's right.
Instead of just like, you know, a couple of little cities around you, it's a massive audience that opens you up to, even if it's just one state.
Okay. Yeah, Marlene, this is Allie.
Yes.
I work for
Hi,
a doctor. Hi. And we use programs Advanced MD and Prognosis and Patient Pop, and all of them have launched in-home doctor services. So if you have access to your back end, you know, where you process your billing, you could ask them to look at their model and see what they're doing. I mean, for example, Patient Pop is offering the teleport for $150 a month, where they will schedule, e-blast your entire list and back it up billing for $150 a month. So stuff like that's going on that maybe is pre-made because people, like Patient Pop is already an existing back office for doctors. That's what my doctor uses for her website. So I'm just throwing in a couple of, and we use Advanced MD and Prognosis.
Great, yeah.
Prognosis.
Our particular software is not, unlike Advanced MD, which we used to have, and stay in touch with me because that's a good link to know about you. Our doctor's software does not have telehealth, but we created a telehealth template so they can do notes and billing. So we created our own for them.
That's cool. And I would work with John, and because you're overloaded, you're just in such high demand, I would ask John to build your back end of exactly what he just said and launch it with all the lead generators and just offer people your first check-in is free during the COVID. We want to create peace. And after that, we're inviting you into our ongoing community, et cetera, so forth. Because you've got, you got the money, you just don't have the time. So, and he knows what he's doing with Kartra, and his team can create it for you and probably get it up and running in 2 days, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because he's got our website too, so he can coordinate this. Okay,
So
I have another question.
I would delegate this. And if you want, John, I could connect you to the patient pop portal or whatever to give you a look-see, or however I could help facilitate. If I could be of any service, I'm here for you.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Just if you would write me a comment here in our Zoom chat of something, that would be fabulous.
Sure.
Yeah, because
also I have go ahead.
I think that is just, you could wind up coming out of this thing so far ahead of before you went into it. It's an opportunity really for you.
John, Mariette Timmerman here. I completely missed the time, so I just joined a few minutes ago, and I was just wondering, where do I see the recording of this again? Is it in the
email that I sent out to you for the invite? There's a link there for the call archive that's got all the past calls. And
great. Okay.
I'll have this one up later today. I'll have it up for you in there.
Okay. Thank you so much, John.
Sure.
So with respect to having links on our website, or now I really am going to have to go to Facebook and Instagram and take social media more seriously. Can I offer people like an RSS feed to CDC bulletins, or would that be a membership benefit of I am very researched on this, so I know where to go instantly to save your life. So is that a membership benefit? I don't have to charge for the membership.
Yeah, I would
sign up.
I would make that part of your program. You know, like I was talking, you could have this membership where it's almost like, insurance, and you're covered, and we've got this and this and this inside for all of our members, and it's a member benefit.
Yeah, Marlene, were you at the last mastermind? Craig talked, he's paying for something called Concierge Doctor. He pays $400 a month to be put to the front of the line whenever he needs medical services. But you can
I am familiar with that. We are hesitant to take new patients under this circumstance because they haven't been examined yet.
Exactly. So you can offer to your existing patients something like that, and they pay for it on an ongoing way. This is what I'm talking about. So because you can't, you're already overloaded. Everybody in the medical field is in this. They're just working 24/7. So.
Yeah. Okay, this is all good. I'm writing this all down as you all are sharing these ideas. And Kartra, I assume, is superior to Constant Contact?
Constant Contact is just an email program. So this is more of an all-inclusive marketing program where you can create a membership area that could be paid for and grant, individual access to it. It's your mailing list, it's your opt-in pages, it's everything all in one program.
All right. Thank you very much. And I'll be talking to you privately later about the website of what I need to do to modify to have people turn to it for instantaneous life-saving information or to counter misinformation. Everybody be careful about misinformation. It can kill. Get the good stuff from your own doctor.
Yeah. And Marlene, just one note, it's important to use if you work with John and Karta, just do an advanced encrypt, because you're going to be talking about medical information, and it's so easy to hack regular email. We use we use encrypted systems we use Proton Mail, which is pretty awesome, but I don't know how you would link it to in and through Kartra. So, but John, just if you're, if you team up with John, that would be a big thing, because you're talking about if somebody hacks an email, they have access to
HIPAA violations.
Yeah, so much
Good idea.
information.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm good.
You'd probably want to do all of your virtual meetings through private rooms, private Zoom rooms that were encrypted.
Right.
So that shouldn't be a big deal.
They're doing it through DoxyMe, which is HIPAA
Oh, that's
protected.
good.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. There might already be systems in place that, for your particular thing might be better than Kartra. That they might have something already specific to this industry that's like plug and play, ready to go. That might be something to look into.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was suggesting that if you could look at Patient Pop, what they've got going on, or Advanced MD, that's what I mean by plug and play, like John's saying. But if you could work it with John and create your own, there's models out there. There's another online system. It's on Instagram nonstop. What is that? Online at home doctor. Shoot, I can't remember right now. But anyway, that's what I got for you, Marlene.
Writing down Allie's email here.
I sent you my phone number too. And if you're complete, Marlene, I wanted to ask a question on next steps for Woody. And thank you, John, for the, we have discussed, you paralleled previous conversations I've had with him, but I loved the highlight note that the family, the addict never wants the help, and the person depressed often doesn't see a way out, so isn't making themselves available to solutions. So what we need to do is go through the steps of creating the avatar and then create like the content. And so when Woody was saying, what do I do next? I think that's what we're trying to figure out, how to, unfortunately we missed the live act training, so that I haven't even listened to any of the training modules yet. I just got the email and I actually sent you a thank you back, but we're trying to figure out what's the next step, like step one. So that's why I was saying we have to get his avatar outlined. And then when you were saying we got to find where they are, who's going to buy a program for someone is very different than the person who's suffering. Everybody's suffering, and then I wanted a group input about the word crippled. I think that there can be a shift in that languaging. I don't know if know about.
Here's the thing with that. Any given word can mean different things to different people. And you have to understand that it might be offensive to you, or you might think it's offensive to say it. But if that's the language of your avatar and that's what they're saying, then you need to just get comfortable with it.
Right. And I've been watching the training modules on ACT, and my brain's melting down a little with Google AdWords and the SEM programs and stuff, and Kartra, and all the programs that are really detailed about, all the techie stuff. It's not my wheelhouse, but is there a way to do all this, John, without you having to buy all those tools, or
like a lot of this is mind work. Like for Woody, what you guys need to do, you need to figure out who is the actual avatar that's going to pay for this, who's the one that's going to care. And if it's the person that's in the situation, just like the same thing with an addict, they're not the person you need to talk to. It's the person that is going to pay to help have them brought out of it.
Right.
So it might be the families, it may well be the family. And if that's the case, You just need to understand who is that person and what's important to them, and start creating that conversation. So that's the A and the C. The A is just understanding who we're talking to and what they want to hear. The C is creating that conversation. And then the T is bringing it to them, the traffic, figuring out where are those families hanging out. There might be support groups for those families, because those families are going through something different, but they're going through something. So if you meet them where they are and you say, hey, I understand what you're going through. I was actually the person that you care about at one point, and I know how to get them out. You want to enlist me to go do that for you. I'm a mercenary. I'm going to go onto their battlefield, and I'm going to lead them out of here. I'm going to bring them home for you. That's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. And then, so the challenge here is to really, so there's kind of two veins, a person that might actually want direct help, and then the family members. So,
yeah.
And, so I've been listening to the videos that are on the actual ACT site. And then,
because for Woody, the enjoy the joy, that's the delivery of the thing he's selling. That's not going to probably resonate with the families. The families,
right? They're in pain. So we've got to create the pain conversation, because joy is so far away from what their scope of availability is. So I'm trying to. So we're talking about first steps. Like, I guess we might. I need to listen to the ACT training, but it's like we can't get the cart ahead of the horse, because like Woody's snippets, I don't know, like you had pointed out and I had said, that the content may be not going to hit the bullseye for the people in pain. Although people in pain always want to get out of pain. So, and then I don't understand if when we create the avatar and we do, like you said, do a test and a tweak, should we just create an avatar and try a lead magnet page, John? Like, try something? Like, I think that's where I think Woody is pointing to when he says, what do I do next? I think he wants to take action, and we are not quite sure. So I know that, like you had said, don't put the cart before the horse and create without knowing who you're talking to. And I think he's been doing that a little bit, because he's been doing his snippets from his place of joy and wanting to connect with people like that. But I'm really clear that we have to connect with the pain, the people that are in pain, and the family members are in pain, because when you love someone, you don't want them messed up. And I'm not quite sure what to do next. And I need to figure out how to work with Woody to get him stepping into the next steps and evolve the product, take the action.
Yeah. So
Am I still on by chance?
Yes.
Yeah, Marlene.
One of the things I would do, I had formal training in marketing, but also just from practical, is first thing that I do is create a very simple business plan, and I pilot test that business plan to see if it's effective, and I allow the people who I pilot tested to kind of individually focus group with me and tell me what resonates with them the most. And I find that the most effective is to ask the target audience on a pilot basis, what do you react to? What makes you want to follow through and commit to this? So that was just my first thought of first a formal business plan that's very simple, and then pilot test. So I'll get off right now.
No, actually, I want to ask you, could I talk with you a little bit about what you mean by a simple business plan, and then how you create a pilot test, and how you get at, and what steps to take to do a focus group? I've wanted to do that. I just don't know how to do it.
what I can do is give you an article that tells you step by step. Start here, go here. Try this. If that doesn't work, try that. It is pretty simple. It's just the ideas you need to put down. The ideas are the most important part. And if you and I can communicate afterwards, I can show you a simple article that will tell you step by step, start here, and then where to go from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Or if you want to put the link to the article, yeah, everybody's asking you to put that article in the link. If you have access to the link, that would be awesome. Otherwise, we could figure out, send it to John, and John could send it to all of us.
I'll do a little research because there are a number of these available, but it will be an article that just says this is a simple action plan, which is define the problems, define the target audience, segment the audiences, who wants what, and then how to pilot test, because this is all in your head. Now you need to take it out to the target group to see what they think. So yeah, John, will you act as our
liaison?
Yeah. If you want to put that, sure. If you want to put that together, I'm happy to distribute it out to the group for you, for sure.
Marlene, is that going to take a lot of your time? Because I know you're super busy right now. I mean, you're stacked.
I'm a pretty decent researcher. I think in about 15 minutes I can find a couple of options.
Okay, that's awesome.
I may not be able to do it today because we're struggling to get this newsletter and some kind of email blast out. But once I breathe, sure. Yeah, I have an MBA in healthcare marketing. So
wow.
Plus 25 years of doing this. So maybe I can help. And I know you've seen me already.
Yes, that would be awesome. All right, well, we'll be in communication.
All right.
Maybe you
could.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Marlene.
All right, you're welcome.
Marlene, put your phone number in the, or private message me so I could text you and we could be in communication directly. I put my phone number in the thread, in the chat.
Let me see if I can do that because I got off of the, whoa. I got to get off of where I was. It'll take a minute. You guys talk among yourselves, pick a topic. I'll do that in a second.
Marlene, I'll just give you my number. It's 631.
I have it. You gave it? Allie?
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yes, you did. But I will, to Allie, no, let's do, I have you as Alice. Where is Allie? Are you Alice?
I'm Allie. I think it's Alice Marie Varshall on this call.
Wonderful. I'm putting it down for you now privately. All right. Good.
Thanks, Marlene.
Thank you.
John, I was thinking, I don't know if you want to address this or if it's even a good idea, but when we were looking at researching some of the audience that I was going for, we were talking about some groups where people like things on Facebook. So maybe John, and you can tell me if this would be a good idea for Scott or not, but maybe finding support groups for a family of people with disabilities.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That
might be a good place to start, at least maybe.
That's one of the things I was referring to is figure out, where they hang out. If there's forums, Facebook groups.
Finding that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, I have to get ready. I have a 1 o'clock appointment here, so I'm going to go ahead and close up for today. But thank you all for being on here. This was a great call. So,
hey, John, quick question. Callie had a private session. She wanted to talk to you, ask some questions about her campaign. Is that the call that you're on, or is it a separate time that we need to readjust?
I actually have one at 1 that's probably going to take about a half hour, and then I'll text her, and then we can pop together.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
John, want to talk to you.
Thanks, everybody. It takes a village. Bye.
Bye.
Stay strong, America. Stay strong.
All right, guys. Have a great week, and we'll be back on regular time next week.
All right. Thanks, John. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.